Guys, welcome to Losers Round 2 of the Cal State Fullerton Spring Semester Solo Duo Trio Q Tournament elimination match between Teams 8 and Teams Atik 711. I'm your host, Josh, and today I have with me a good friend of mine. He is the head of productions over at r/Summoner School. What's up, Jump?
Hey, how's it going, dude? What's up, everybody?
So, it's going to be really interesting having our man BC Jumpman in here because usually we have casters that are a part of the club who generally know everybody, who are generally familiar with how everybody plays. So having a fresh set of eyes in here as our color caster is going to be really interesting. Taking a look at picks and bans so far, nothing really too out of the ordinary. The Wukong ban, definitely a target ban towards Kree. Jump probably confused at seeing the Wukong ban, but that's probably what it is.
Now, I mean, Wukong, in and of itself is still like a very solid pick and whatnot. And if your team isn't necessarily as comfortable with working against it, then it doesn't necessarily work as well. But we are seeing a lot of mid focus right here. I'm not too sure necessarily what both these teams have as far as their mid laners go. But when you have something like LeBlanc, Ari, and a Ziggs specifically, then that's really reducing the amount of pool that you have for the mid lane. And then as well, we round out the ban phase with the Gragas. I don't know. Gragas is a fantastic jungler right now, top tier in my opinion. And with the Cinderhulk and the great base damages that he has, I mean, he's just an all-around fantastic jungler.
So yeah, that Ari ban is definitely targeted at Team Atik 711's mid laner Devon Chang. Devon Chang demonstrated a lot of prowess on Ari and on Xerath as well in the previous tournament and in this tournament as well. So they're definitely trying to take that away from him. Not sure if he's gonna pick up the Xerath in this match. He might want to go for more of a carry mid laner. He did play Xerath. I'm sorry, he did play Zed in the match he got eliminated in. Didn't go too well, but his laning phase went really well. They just weren't able to translate that success into a good mid game and late game for the team. So we do see Sejuani and Maokai being locked in. What do you think is going to happen with that team comp, Jump?
Well, for the purple team, I mean, you're already seeing a very good all-in comp. I mean, Sejuani, as we all know, is another one of those top-tier junglers just because of the CC that she brings to a team, as well as Maokai, with the tanky stats and with the damage reduction that he gets from his ultimate, he can really just run into a fight and not really have to worry about anything else. But I want to touch over on the blue side right here. If you look at this Lulu pick, this is a very good indicator of kind of what kind of team the blue team is really trying to figure out with this. When you pick a Lulu top lane, yes, she does a lot of damages. Yes, she's really good at, like bullying these melee range tanks that we're seeing in the meta right now. But what a lot of people are seeming to forget is Lulu is actually built to help peel for the rest of her team. When she can have the chance to build that AP scales onto her ultimate, which means not only is she just going to give you the utility that Wild Growth gives, but at the same time she's going to just give so much more health to whoever she decides to ult. And when you have a pick like that, you're guaranteed to have some hard carries in your mid lane as well as your AD carry. Because if you can keep them alive and really use your shields and all the utility that Lulu brings towards something, it's great. And we automatically see that with the Vlad. Vlad, very good damage late game. And then as well as the laner, we're seeing him in the mid, especially with this Ghost Flash. He's got a lot of mobility. He doesn't have to worry about the ganks as much on the top lane. And with the shorter lane, he can just farm up and then just really get to that late game prowess that we see all the Vladimirs have.
Yeah, definitely. And this Lulu can also be a flex pick as well. Then again, Boom Sparky played somebody like Maokai. Did play Maokai in the previous match, so there's still the possibility of him picking up a more tanky top laner. This could still go to XY2 set. XY2 set having played any in the previous game, but I definitely think like that was a great point that you brought up that Lulu is a source of support for both the ADC and the mid laner because in the last game that Team 8 played, although they did lose, Blessed to Fall got off to a really good start on Ari. So they're definitely looking to him to be that mid lane carry as well. So picking up that Lulu even further, pushing forward the point of, hey, we're going to protect our carries. We're going to let them carry us. But the Jarvan pickup, Jarvan is somebody we don't really see a whole lot nowadays, probably due to the nerfs on his E. Do you want to touch on that maybe?
Well, I mean, with the nerf to his E, I mean, yeah, they kind of switched his stats around a little bit, but one of the biggest things that they did was once they reduced the actual range on that knockup for the EQ combo, it's really difficult. But and I'm not too sure about necessarily how he fits into this team comp as well. Out of everybody, he's probably the only outlier I see. I mean, you see all the damage from the Vlad, you see the utility from the top lane Lulu, and then you see this just dominant bot lane duo with the Lucian and the Braum. But then you've got the Jarvan in there. Yes, he's really good at engaging, but if you look over at this red team right now, you have a straight up nothing but team fight comp. That's all they're meant for. They've got a ton of lockup. Jinx can run around and fire rockets around the fight, get excited, do whatever she wants to do, and they're there. The blue team, they're more of this just like, we're going to kite you back, we're going to let you blow your skills, and then we're going to re engage with that. And when they don't have a hardcore set of disengage outside of the Braum ultimate, then it's a little worry. But that being said, Jarvan's very good at early game potential. And if you can get your lanes going, then it doesn't necessarily matter how good the other team's comp is, because if you're ahead, then you can just bully through that really good team comp in the early game, transitioning into the mid game. And that's what I see this Jarvan pick being, showing a lot of presence in the lanes. He's got strong lanes all around. So if he can get one of those lanes going, then hopefully he can start to snowball the game. But we do have our mid lane lock in. We do have a Xerath. You did touch upon him about that possibly happening. Xerath actually does a really good job against Vlad, because one of the things that Vlad's do very well against in lane is, they can crank off a lot of early damage. You get the 4 stacks on your hemoglobin, and then you pop that Q, and it just does absolute crazy amounts of damage. And Xerath, he doesn't need to be in that range. If he dies to Vladimir, it's due to his own mispositioning, because Xerath is fantastic at making sure that he can just farm safely, get his prowess up, and then team fight better later on in the mid game.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see if blue team's decision not to ban out that Xerath, if that's the decision that they're going to pay for later on in the game. We do head into our 3-minute delay, so we're just going to talk a little bit more about our team comps, what we think is going to happen. And like you and I both said, this game, a lot of it is going to focus on how those junglers can impact their mid laners. Early on, who do you really give that mid lane advantage to? I feel like it would have to go to Xerath and Sejuani, considering that Xerath does have hard CC early on,
Yeah, I
increasing their chances of gank success.
Yeah, I agree. One of the difficulties with Vlad, especially without a combat spell such as Ignite or even Exhaust in some cases, it's very difficult because generally when you have a jungler that has CC or even that doesn't have CC, you want to make sure that there's some kind of follow-up from your team. And Vlad can, slow him with the pool, but that's going to be taking, 20% of his health away. And against a high damage dealer like Xerath, that's not necessarily something you want to do. So yeah, I definitely give the advantage right there to Sejuani. Plus, Sejuani's skills are a lot easier to hit, because all you have to do is just ram into them. Whereas, you have to be a little bit more strategic with the flag and drag. So yeah, I would definitely give the mid lane advantage to that Sejuani right there. But I want to see, I want to see if Jarvan decides to maybe focus this top lane a little bit, because, like we said, that's what I'm looking for the most. I know that we're talking a lot about the prowess of these mid laners, but the top laners, Lulu is supposed to beat Maokai, and if Lulu gets ahead of a Maokai and can get that Morellonomicon out pretty quickly, then it really distinguishes a lot of the fire that this Maokai can bring to the table in coming into the mid game. And so, if this Jarvan can really focus his top lane and really try to get Boom Sparky ahead, then that's going to be great. And then over to the bot lane, both of them have a fantastic bot lane comps. They're both very strong. I mean, you've got the concussive blows on Braum that's going to synchronize well with the Light Slinger on Lucian, but then you also have the crazy amount of damage that a Jinx Thresh can bring to the lane. So they both are opting to go with the exhaust. So they're going more of a passive summoner spell as opposed to Ignite. I would have enjoyed seeing someone with Ignite just to see a little bit more craziness in the lanes. But overall, I think it's going to be pretty good. It's really going to come down to if blue team can get going early, because even though they've got a lot of late game prowess, the red team has just so much more as far as team fight potentials and stuff. When you've got two front lines in a Sejuani, the Maokai, the utility of the Thresh, and then the long range of the Jinx rockets as well as the Xerath, then that's not going to bode well for blue team. But I don't know. I'm excited all around, and the mid game fights and the early dragons are really going to be important in this game.
Yeah, it's really interesting you bring up the topic of Ignite as well. Considering that blue team has a Vladimir, you would figure that somebody on purple team would want to take Ignite to try and mitigate that healing, especially in the late game once those transfusions start sucking so much health. But we'll see how that goes. Maybe they're not as confident in their laning. Exhaust, always never a terrible choice to bring to lane. Then again, a lot of supports are leaning towards the Ignite in order to maybe get that early lane kill pressure or mitigate the healing of other champions in the mid to late game, especially in the team fights. But we are loading into it. We're going to do our traditional who has more skins, therefore they're going to win more, just as our thing loads up here. Oh, and jump. This is something that I do with pretty much everybody I cast with, whether it's with this program or any other match. I always offer a mystery skin if my co-caster can guess who it is that picks up first blood. So do you want to throw a guess out there?
I mean, I'm gonna guess. Looking at the comps that we have right now, I'm honestly gonna give it to the Jinx Thresh in the bot lane. Even though Braum Lucian has a fantastic synchronization with their passives, nothing can compare to the all-in potential that a Jinx and the Thresh can bring. So I'm gonna have to give it to. I mean, assuming that Jinx gets the kill, I'm gonna give it to a Jinx, but it's definitely gonna happen in the bot lane. Looking at the way that these comps are running.
Definitely gonna happen in the bot lane. A lot of confidence coming from you. It's going to be really, really fun. Out of like the 30, 40, I don't know how many games I've casted, literally only one person has guessed correctly. So if you come in as like the total stranger to Cal State Fullerton's League of Legends Club and just guess right, then everybody else is completely fired. Like, I'm not casting with anybody else. Like, y'all are worthless. But introducing our teams. On the blue side, we do have Team A, the only team electing not to take a name in this tournament. In the top lane, we have Boom Sparky on Lulu. In the jungle, we have Kree on Jarvan. Blessed of All in the mid lane on Vladimir. Zoomoon and XY 2 sets on Lucian and Braum in the bot lane. Jump, take it away with our red team.
Yeah, we've got Atik 7-11 right here. We're going to have, for the top lane, we've got AO and Joker on that lovely Maokai. For the mid laner, we've got Mr. Devin Chang. Rocking the jungle Sejuani, we've got a Penguin Shadow. And for the lovely bot lane duo, who I'm hoping will get us our first blood, we've got Mr. Autumn, or yeah, Autumn Awesome, and 211 Yeknam. So let's get it going. Looking across right now, there's nothing really fancy as far as starts go. We do actually, no, I stand corrected. You look at this Thresh right now, he's actually started to go Ancient Coin. Ancient Coin, which is kind of feeling bad for my first blood pick, but Ancient Coin is generally a pickup you do on Thresh when you understand that the lane is going to be passive. And so that's not necessarily the best option when you have a strong laner such as a Jinx, but that being said, he's going to get a lot of gold input, and if they can manage to not die, then the coin is going to end up giving him a higher gold return for that.
But it is interesting considering that, like you said, Ancient Coin is the more passive start because you want to earn more gold passively that way. He does elect to start 2 and 2 on the pods. That's something you'd probably see from a Thresh, like really rarely, unless he's planning on throwing a lot of hooks, a lot of flays, and a lot of lanterns. So a bit of dissonance there, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it is different, but at the same time, when you're rocking the different consumables like that, you're going to be trying to, you can, yes, you're going to be throwing a lot of hooks, you're going to be throwing a lot of shields, but you might, especially with the coin, it might translate that to more of like a passive attempt to do so. So you're going to be trying to throw hooks, you're going to be trying to do stuff just to get the Braum Lucian off you, because, they do have a good disengage, and if the Braum does hit that winter spot on you, then it's going to get a substantive slow, and so you might want to have to throw your CC out enough just to disengage with that coin. So assuming he goes to task, that's going to be what it does. But they are going to get started right here. We do have Maokai starting the cheesy start and going with the wolf start. And for Team 8 over here, they're starting a little bit of different. Generally, you see if they do start on the bot side blue, they're going to start those Krugs and really get that Krug passive to help out with the early farming. But they opted to go for the red buff here. What's your thoughts on this exactly?
Thoughts on that? That's something I haven't really seen any teams do in this tournament. Most teams just go their standard lanes. They don't really try to get an EXP advantage early on, whether it's through taking one Krug, or like taking Gromp, like you said. So it's really interesting seeing them bust out a more interesting strategy.
Oh, but here comes Jarvan.
Here comes Jarvan going in. Penguin Shadow forced to flash out early. He might give up a blue buff early. One more auto attack should do it. Jarvan picks up the first blood. No skin for Jumpman. First kill goes to Team 8.
Nothing at all. That was a really good job, so that's why he decided to go red buff the lovely level 2.
Oh wait, hold on, bot lane. They're going in deep over here. Yeknam opts to follow in with the hook, gets the stun up onto Awesome. Awesome forced it back off, trying to do as much damage by kiting. Yeknam not ready to give up just yet. Looks like they are going to disengage though, but that's a lot of damage to go down early. Oh, just kidding. They go in again. Hook. Flay lands onto 2. Awesome. Going a whole lot of AoE, but Jarvan comes in for the response. Zumu manages to turn it. Flag and drag knocking up Flash. Yeknam trying to get away, saying this is not how I plan things to go. Please let me go. Please let me go. Please let me go. Does manage to get it under tower. Oh, Jarvan goes in taking 2 shots. Tries to get in for the left. What's going on? What the heck just happened?
That was crazy. Yeah, so, it was a great opportunity turned disaster, turned runaway, turned disaster. It was a really good job at really abusing that level 2. Jinx Thresh did a fantastic job at that, but they stayed around, they fought too long, they let the minions die, And, what is it? The blue side here, they just got the level 2 and they re-engaged. Jarvan did a really good job at coming down, following up, but overcommitted a little bit, and that gave the lovely Thresh double buff. So the good news is that Jarvan's blue is still up, so he is going to get a little bit of something back, but when you have double buffs on your bot lane, that's not going to bode well. Any time in the early game when you can get any kind of competitive advantage, life is much easier, and that's exactly what this red side did right here.
Especially on somebody like Thresh, right? Whose auto attacks hurt enough already with the Flay passive. Throwing down fire on top of that, definitely gonna put a little stop in the step of blue team's bot lane. But that was a really, really crazy level 2. But you generally don't see the level 2 ganks coming in, but just the perfect opportunity. Kree going really, really aggressive early on. That's exactly what you said is gonna push them that early game advantage. Hook landing on XY2 set though. Jumper's gonna land, but I don't think they're gonna follow in on this. A little too pushed out, a lot of minions to deal with, so they don't want to take all that aggro.
Yeah, their wave control is very different right now. As ahead as they are, they probably would want to zone out a little bit more. But both AD carries making sure that they can really try to push their lanes up. Jinx is very good with that minigun passive to just push you into your tower, and they're trying their best to do just that. But looking across to the other side right here, as Kree decides to get that Baron Scuttle Crab, I want to touch up on the bot lane or top lane right now. As we've said, Lulu is really good at bullying out those melee tanks, but if you look over at this Maokai, he's done a very good job. He's going to back, get his Ruby and his Sapphire Crystal. No clear decisions right now on if he's going to go for the Roa or just rush that utility and the Righteous Glory, but overall he is keeping the CS advantage, and he's doing a very good job at making sure that he doesn't get bullied out by this Lulu. And then looking to the mid lane right here as well, Devon Chang and Blessfall both are doing a very good job at just keeping up with each other on CS. Nothing fancy, and again, this was something that we suggested. They both don't have combat spells. They both really need to get some items before they become effective, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're taking their time, they're trying to farm up, and it just looks like a version of the EULCS at this point.
We did see a ping come down bot lane from Team A. Looks like Kree looking again to make something happen. I guess he wants to give Thresh more kills. He picked up a fresh blue buff. Maybe Yeknom messaged him in all chat saying, hey, I want more buffs. But Kree, I'm not sure if he was spotted out by that wave. Yeknom going to throw that lantern out preemptively, or maybe just to pick up some more soul stacks. They did seem, though, going to back up off of that. Kree forced to go somewhere else.
Yeah, that last minion got him right there, and this is something that he really needs to do. If he wanted to do this lane gank, he needs to make sure that he can stand. I talk really fast and quiet, I'm sorry. But yeah, so the hook lands on there. That looks like they're going to engage right here.
Does back up off of that, though. Not wanting to make the same mistake of taking a whole bunch of free tower shots again. Then again, some of us don't learn after the first time.
No, it happens. So, but, looking across right now, we really don't have anything too crazy right now. It is running about 7 minutes, and this is about the time where you start to see the bot lane support really try to get some deep wards out for that dragon. If you can get a pre-8 dragon, that's usually really good. As Thresh ends the hook, it looks like
but XY2 said going in for the stand by me, gets caught out just a little bit by the hook. Looks like awesome, try to kite away. Zoo putting a lot more damage down onto the ADC. That trade going not the way that Team of 7-11 really expected to go.
Yeah, when you have the concussive blows on anyone, you want to make sure to proc that and get this done as quick as possible. And Zoom in right there, a little bit of a misclick, and actually popped the Light Slinger onto the Jinx instead of the Thresh right there. But overall, it's still pretty even back and forth. You do have Lucian starting to pull away with CS, but he hasn't gone back yet, so there really is no hardcore competitive advantage looking around. But again, this Maokai doing a fantastic job right here at making sure that he doesn't get bullied out by the Lulu. He's up 10 farm now. He's lurking around the bush. It looks like he wants to do something right there. He's going to throw out the saplings, kind of scare him away with the big tree face, and, just call it out for the moment.
We're taking a look at gold difference right now. Just a 500 gold lead for teammate at this moment. Just about 8.5 minutes into the game. Not a whole lot of action has happened mid. I've been flipping back and forth to mid constantly, but it looks like they're just trying not to give up kills to each other, knowing that how much hard carry potential that each of these mid laners have. Looks like these mid laners definitely opting to play a lot more cautious, but then again, not attracting any jungle pressure mid either.
Yeah, both junglers are really trying to farm up and some ganks right here from Kree. If you look over at Penguin Shadow, he really hasn't done too much. Yes, he died once a little bit early and that put him behind, and so he's done a really good job at trying to farm up and show some kind of I guess gold gain coming back in that. And even though, as it looks like XY2
Oh wow,
wants to go in
XY2
here.
set went in really. They're trying to get the concussive blow stacks off onto him, but it's forced like he's forced to flash out of there. Jinx forced to flash out as well as Kree comes in for the surprise gank. A little bit of miscommunication from the blue side bot lane. I'm expecting XY2 set going in a little too deep, a little too fast.
Well, but here's your action mid lane. It looks like
There
Joker
is our
wants to do
action mid, like TP coming in response as they realize that the Maokai is gone. Blessed of all just gonna back up so that TP will be canceled. Treebeard just gonna walk away.
Yeah, that was a really good TP by Boomsparky right there to just, preemptively understand that once that gank comes that he's going to need some support. So the TP was canceled, but again, a really good job by that. And, for this bot lane right here, you've got this advantage on this Lucian, and I understand that XY2 says really trying to, force these initiatives and really try to make sure to, really force the issue on these fights. But he's really getting pulled into too much. Thresh is doing a very good job at the second that this Braum tries to initiate. He actually hooks the Thresh instead of hooking the Lucian, because even though Lucian does all the damage, if the concussive blows don't get started and Lucian doesn't have time to catch up to these lovely, stand by me engages that you see this Braum doing, then it really completely dissolves all sense of fights right there. So a very good job by Thresh to recognize that and to do more going forward. But it looks like we're going to see a fight in this top lane right here.
We do have a surprise party in the bot lane. They didn't know Sejuani was there, so the wild growth is going to have to come out immediately. Joker trying to get out of there. Kree taking a lot more damage than he expected. Righty the Arcane comes in response. That's 2 shots taking down Kree. Penguin Shadow just barely making it away with just under 50 HP. However, Devin Chang does come in response. The mid laners are here to fight as well. Bless the fall. Finally going to back up after that, realizing that he's not going to get a kill after all. So, in that game, Team 8 thought they were going to get a kill, but Atik 711 came out with 1.
Yeah, that was a fantastic map awareness by Penguin Shadow. He was already close. Malachi kind of baited the lovely duo into this tri-bush, and then here comes Penguin Shadow to come help out. It was a great wild growth, but then you've got David Chang, fantastic rotation, pops his ultimate, gets a good 2 stacks of that arcane onto Kree, and just ends up picking up that kill. And that kill on the Xerath right now, not only is he now ahead 20 farm, but he's going to go back. He's sitting on, what, roughly 1,400 gold. He's going to get boots. He's going to finish his chalice, and it's really going to be a great power spike for him. You look over at the build of this flat lane right now, and yes, he's got...
Oh my god, speaking of this, we have a fight in the bot lane. Thresh misses the hook, but opts to pop the box. XY2 Seb jumping out of there, trying not to die. Zoomoon gets the calling off onto Asa. One more proc up the Light Slinger should do it. Yeknam going in deep, trying to get revenge for his fallen comrade, the ADC, but they're both a little too high health for him to finish that off with support damage. But in the top lane, as I'm finishing talking, Penguin Shadow finds Lulu. They get the twisted advance onto her. This should be a dead Lulu real quick. Kill going to each team in those separate exchanges.
Yeah, no, a very good job both sides of the map to just really capitalize on their strengths. Again, something I mentioned in the pregame, you have a lot of lockup on this red side, and so if Atik 711 can just, utilize the insane amount of CC that they have, then they generally come out on top. You see that with the Sejuani gank. The flash was down, the ultimate was down, there was no mana left on Lulu, and all he had to do was just lock him up, blast the ultimate from Joker, and everything ended up working out perfectly. And then, you look at the flip side for this bot lane. An interesting choice for a start. Bloodthirster actually start right here for Zoomoon. I'm not too sure necessarily how they want to do that. But, he wants to try to keep up some sustain. He wants to make sure that he doesn't get bullied out by the crazy amount of damage that Awesome does. And, he's really making sure now to just utilize a lot as it looks like he's going to get onto a hook. They're going to fight right now.
Oh, Yeknam's going in deep. Follows the death sentence into there. Jinx electing not to take the lantern, so he's forced to flash out of there in order not to die. Little bit of miscommunication.
Yeah, if she wanted to engage, she should have taken the lantern. But I'm not sure. I'm actually happy she didn't take the lantern, because that's not necessarily a fight that you want. You've got a flash burned on the Thresh right now, but outside of that, they came out with their life, so that's a really good thing. It's just fantastic. But, overall, one of the things which we still haven't touched upon is there has not been a dragon. We're almost 14 minutes into the game, and there's been no attempt to try to get any kind of dragon objective right now. You have really good control right here from teammate, but outside of that, it looks like Sejuani wants to play.
Yeah, they're going in deep. They get the ult down into XY2 set. Kree gonna respond with the counter game. Cataclysm go down onto the back line. Thresh going really low. That's one for Jarvan. Right in the arcane, coming in, trying to do as much damage as possible as Maokai shows up to the fight. Zoomoon getting locked down by the Twisted Advance. Sapling and the arcane smash doing a whole lot of damage. That is 3 kills for Atik, 7-11. And finally, after you talking about how they're not doing Dragon, looks like they're finally gonna contest the first one.
Yeah, again, the map rotations and the map awareness from Atik's right here is fantastic. You know, you've got the teleport from Joker. He understood the fight was going to happen. David Chang roamed down, used that Rise of the Arcane, but then kept coming. That is something that you don't see in a lot of people these days is, you know, they try to help out a little bit, but then they don't follow up completely. And he followed up. He ended up getting up another kill, 2 assists. They get a dragon. This little 400 gold lane just jumped to 1,000 before we could blink an eye.
Like Boomsparky doing her best to push down that top lane tower. She wasn't really a part of that fight at all. TP still up for her, but not like a Lulu can really put a whole lot onto a tower by herself.
Yeah, it's a little, you know, she doesn't necessarily have the best power tower pushing potential, and she actually is opting to go with the Chalice right here. She's going to go back, have enough gold to finish the Chalice, but generally when you see really tanky teams like this, you're going to see, I mean, for all intents and purposes, you're going to see Morello's just to help a little bit with those grievous wounds as the team fights start happening in this mid game. But she's going to actually end up going for the Grail right here. And, you know, if she doesn't get ahead, if she doesn't get the farm up and she really just can't get these items cranked out, then this Maokai is just really going to start to take over the game. He did decide to go with Roa. He just got it pre 16 minutes is generally the time that you want to get it. If you can get it before 16 minutes, it's going to make things a whole lot easier. But, you know, outside of that, teammates not out of this yet. They still have a lot of damage, but if they allow these picks, if they allow Atik's to just, you know, continue these rotations, then it's going to prove deadly because, like what we were saying, the team fight potential that they have is absolutely astonishing. And if they can't maintain, you know, this snowball that you're starting to see, then it's just going to prove deadly once this mid game hits.
Yeah, mid game taking a little while to get there. 16 minutes into the game, no towers taken just yet. It's like Zoomu doing his best to try and make something happen with that, using the calling, try and force Awesome and Yeknam out of lane. Kree was spending a good amount of time bot lane too, looking for another gank. Probably getting a whole lot of focus this game.
Yeah,
well, looks like, speaking of bot lane, top lane gets a whole lot of attention. Boom Sparky does get out of there with the hell picks and the Whimsy. So Sejuani showing top might encourage Kree to go mid or bot now.
Yeah, I mean, you've got this Jarvan who, like we said, is very good at showing a lot of presence early, but he really hasn't done too much. He's been, okay, let me put it this way. He's been a reactive jungler right now. You know, he's doing a really good job at coming in when things happen, but it looks like actually both junglers are going to meet right here, and they're going to go hard.
They're going to meet in the mid lane. Devon Shang manages to flash out of the Cataclysm. Penguin Shadow showing up. Surprise! Glacial Prison does miss. Devon Shang pops the barrier, gets out of there. However, Vladimir does finish off the kill onto Devon Shang. Penguin Shadow now on the defensive. A lot of health on that Sejuani though. Not really a kill risk there. So, Devon Shang does go down. It's been surprise gank after surprise gank getting these kills in this game so far. Kills tied at 6-6.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to come back a little bit here. A very good rotation by the bot lane to try to do something right now. Penguin Shadow, I don't think this is a fight you want to do. You're going to go down pretty quickly. XY2 set actually picking up and then popping the ultimate for some skill points. But, you know, like I said, you're really seeing a lot of reactionary presence from these junglers. These junglers aren't necessarily dictating the lanes so much as the lanes are dictating where the junglers are going to going. And, you know, sometimes it works out in their favor and sometimes it doesn't. But when you have this early damage that this Jarvan is doing, if you saw by the way he took down David Chang so fast, if he's able to get the combo lock, he's going to do crazy amounts of damage. And that's what they need right now. They need damage. They need to try to get this burst off, because if they don't and they allow these tanks in the Maokai and the Sejuani to really just ramp up, then it doesn't matter how much damage you think you're doing, it's just not going to happen. So a really good decision by Jarvan right there to try to get some early damage and really try to propel his team's lead forward.
Looks like Jinx and Thresh right now, noticing that Lucian is top and there's a whole lot of people mid. Trying to get some lane presence back, trying to get some free farm down. They don't have a tower to retreat back to, so they're going to have to be a little bit careful. However, their blue side jungle rather, does have a decent amount of wardage in it, so at least they'll have some semblance of warning if somebody's coming from there.
Exactly. So let's take a look at where we're at right now. So we've got Dragon in a minute and a half. You know, we're going to start to see hopefully some ward coverage right now. Some really good defensive wards coming out from the Teaks. But outside of that, where do you think they stand? What if you're, I mean, it's even right now. Do you just wait until Dragon for the next fight, or do you want to see a little bit more pressure as far as towers? Because we have to remember, even though there's been some really good team fights and, you know, some map awareness movements coming out from Atik's, they still haven't got a single tower on the entire map.
I feel like both teams are playing really, really careful. This is the elimination match for them, and knowing that I feel like both of the teams in their elimination matches when they got knocked out of the winners bracket did so in the mid game when they started losing all these team fights. So it really seems like they're playing cautious around these neutral objectives. They don't really want to push the small edges that they have in terms of securing towers and the like. So I feel like it's really going to come down to whoever wins the first dragon fight, because right now a lot of these guys are playing on the back foot, even with the strong team fighting comp that Atik 711 has. But as soon as I say they're hesitating, 3 of them going on Joker. Joker forced to flash out of there. This could open up the rest of the map for Atik 711 though.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job. But you've got Penguin Shadow starting to roam up, so she's going to have her ultimate available to really try to do some disengage. But that was a good attempt at trying to do something, but it looks like Penguin Shadow wants some blood right now.
Went in for the Arctic Assault, electing not to throw out the ultimate.
They're going to go
like
in
you said, all reactionary.
Yeah, it's very reactionary right now, and when you have, you know, these really passive playstyles like both teams are doing, you tend to get that. You know, when you have this like back against the wall, I don't care, I'm going to try to be aggressive thing, you see these really aggressive gank paths, you see these really, you know, hardcore, I want to force the objective and I want to make sure that my team comes out on top. But when you're trying to play passive, the jungler's kind of just like roaming around willy-nilly, as it looks like actually this tower's going to go down and there's a fight out.
Yeah, Joker getting focused down by 3 members of teammate. Calling completely missing. Braum forced to ult. Try to get Joker locked down for just a little bit more. Zoom Moon, the ADC, does pick up one in that exchange. However, Red team reacting well to that top tower, deciding to try and trade Dragon for it. Kree looking for the steal. Oh, Kree gets it! Kree gets the steal, probably going to pay for it for his life, though. Misses the flash over the wall, trying to do as much damage as he can before he takes the walk of shame to the respawn timer. So he does get the steal, completely whiffs the flash. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, no, it was crazy, but at the same time, that gives another kill to Jinx, and even though you got the dragon, it's only going to be the second dragon, so yeah, you're going to have a little bit more tower pushing ability, but it's nothing that's too crazy, and so, you know, when you're feeding a kill to a hyper carry like Jinx, it's not necessarily worth it because you're also going to lose a tower out of this now. So yes, you got the dragon, but you lost your life, you lost your dignity with a fail flash, and on top of that, you gave a Jinx or you gave a kill to the hyper carry, so not worth it all around. But you know, you're seeing all the members go back, but now you're starting to see some pressure. Now you're starting to see both teams try to get some aggression up right now and really start to try to pressure the map. It is the elimination game, and they're going to have to start to make some plays. As they say, the reactionary player is generally the one that loses, because if you're proactive, if you really try to, you know, force the issue in the best way possible, not blindly running in, but, you know, really trying to strategically position yourself around the map and force plays to happen, then you're generally going to come out on top. And that's exactly what Teammate has decided to flip the switch on almost instantly right now. They're roaming around the map. They're doing a really good job at getting some deep ward coverage right now. If you look at this red side blue jungle, it's absolutely great at advantages right now as far as wards go, and if they can keep this up, if they can keep this pressure, then it's going to be a lot better, because one thing you don't want is to get caught out by this red team, and that's exactly what just happened. As XY2 said, is going to get caught out, but they're not going to engage. Oh, I might stand corrected.
Mid lane, there's a fight going down. Looks like they do get the ult down onto 3 people. Box coming down to lock them in even more. Penguin Shadow barely makes it out with a sliver of her life. Yeknam doing her best to lock down Lulu with the very little life that he has left. Kree going in for the back lane, realizes he's alone, forces disengage just a little bit. We got 3 on the Thresh right now, though. A couple more auto bloom. Sparky does get the last glitter lines off to finish the Thresh off. However, in the end of that was a 1 for 2 in favor of Team 8.
Yeah,
not done yet though. Joker
there
wanted a little action.
very back and forth with Dale, but this right here is kind of the CC we were talking about. You know, you get a very good hook right there onto the support. Even though it was a support, it gave him the opportunity to, you know, run in there. He gets a 3-man play that gives Penguin enough time to pop her ultimate down and does a really good job. But, you know, you're still kind of in a phase. Yes, they do kind of a lot of damage. Yeah, they're kind of tanky, but you don't have hardcore damage items right now onto your carries. Yes, you've got an Infinity Edge right now on the Jinx, but until she gets a little bit more attack speed and crit, it's really not going to be too great in your team fights. And then you've got right now, it looks like it's going to be a Luden's Echo rush right here for Devin Chang, and if they can get that out, then it's going to be a lot better. But again, another good rotation right here, and it looks like they're going to fight trying to defend this tower.
They're going in deep. They went in for the tower dive. Tower's a little too healthy for them to take it out before they manage to go for the rest of them. Looks like tower is going to go down, though. That's a 3-man ultimate coming out from Sejuani. Braum ultimate coming in response. Kree and Boom Sparky both going really low. Jinx picks up one. Jinx looking for more as she gets excited. Yeknom jumping out of there, trying not to give up any more gold, but does get the hook onto the opposite support, so Devin Chang gets the Arcano Pulse onto him. Jinx with Run Rocket with 2 rockets, picks up 3 in that exchange. That is 4 for 0 on Atik 711, then they're thirsty for towers right now.
Yeah, they're going to get a tower. They're probably going to get 2 towers out of this because, again, the power potential of Jinx, or sorry, the pushing potential of Jinx is just absolutely crazy. And again, this is what we're talking about. If you look the way that Teamfight had, Jinx was able to just prance around the map willy-nilly like it didn't even matter, fire off rockets, switch to the minigun if she wanted to, probably could have laughed and laid down at the same time due to the amount of CC that Atik's team comp brings to the table. When you have this massive amount of CC and a great AoE damage hypercarry such as Autumn on this Jinx, it's gonna bode disaster if if the enemy team groups up, and that's exactly what Team 8 did right here. And they're going to have to find a way to get picks. They're going to have to make sure to try to get every kind of vision control and niche pick off that they can get, because if they can't, that's going to happen every single team fight just due to the amount of CC that the Atik brings to the table.
Yeah, Jinx getting to that really scary point of 2 items right now, and especially on a team comp that scales so much better than Team 8's. They're really going to have to do their best not to give up any more gold, because even if you're trading for 2 for 2, that gold advantage definitely go to the team that does better in the long run. So far, gold advantage at 2k in favor of Atik 711. They do have 1 more tower over Team 8 though. Let's see if they can continue to press that advantage now that Jinx is really starting to hurt with all of her AoE crits in the team fights. Red buff should do even more.
Yeah, I mean, you've got, again, you know, almost just key exactly what I was saying. Once you get attack speed and crit, then your Jinx is going to be doing better. She goes back from that triple kill, buys a Phantom Dancer. You've got Dragon in 20 seconds. This might not necessarily be a fight that Team 8 wants to necessarily pick. They're down, only down 2k gold, but all 2k of that gold pretty much is into the Jinx and into the Xerath. So if they can't get to the backline, if they can't find a way to kick off this Jinx or this Xerath and allow them to just sit in the back and fight off, then it's not going to do good. But one of the things that they are doing a really good job at right now is vision. Yes, you've got a lot of good wards coming out right here from Atik's, but you've got 3 sweepers, 2 of them upgraded right now for teammates, so they're really prioritizing vision denial. One of the things that doesn't get talked about too much is the fact of vision denial. You know, yes, it's great, fantastic to get a lot of the wards on the map, know where you're at, but if you can deny the enemy team wards, then in a lot of ways it's sometimes more valuable, and this is exactly what they did. They cleared out a lot of the wards. Yes, there's a ward right here in this dragon pit, but they're going to try to get this dragon. That's going to be some luck.
Oh, this could be ugly. That was a 3-man ultimate. Dragon still alive in the midst of all of this. Blue team does secure that, but Zoo trying to get out of there, gets exhausted, but Jinx is just going to turn her attention towards other people. That is 2 going down for teammate. Boom Sparky probably going to die here. Don't see many Lulu 1v5s that go down on YouTube. Yeknom picking up the kill onto Lulu. So while blue team did pick up the dragon, they paid for it with 3 lives. 2 kills going to that hyper carry Jinx.
Yeah, and again, you know, it was a very good job at trying to vision deny, but when you don't vision deny everything, then it's not going to necessarily work. They couldn't clear out that Baron Pit Ward right there, sorry, Dragon Pit Ward right there, and the AoE took over right now. Jinx is doing a fantastic job. Yes, she's got a lot of damage, but if you look at the way that she's floating around her team fights, she's doing a fantastic job at just really, making sure to prioritize the right targets. She's not just, hitting whoever's in front of her, she's making sure that her rockets are hitting multiple people, and that's fantastic right now. And, we talked about it was a good thing for Jarvan to try to go some early damage, but now that they're behind, yes, he does damage, but he's so squishy. And so the second that he gets locked up, he gets obliterated. So looking across the board right now, where do you stand? Okay, I'm going to ask you this, Josh. If you're Team 8 right now, you're down 5k gold, you're down quite a few towers, 5 kills, whole 9 yards. Where do you stand now? In your eyes, how do you feel that they need to come back in this game?
Like, I feel like they should have taken that opportunity when you know that the red team, when a team Atik 711 is going to be back at their base after they take a big objective or after they win a team fight. Try and rush into your jungle as a team together and get vision down and crucial choke points, because you do have decent pick potential. Not the greatest, but you do have ways that you can get 1 or 2 kills back onto the damage dealers. Especially you want to get kills and gold onto your Vladimir, because later in the game, Vladimir is going to be really, really tanky and do a lot of damage at the same time. So taking these, like, small windows of time when you see the enemy team, considering that you have so much vision in the opposite team jungle anyway, when you see them there, dump wards in your own jungle. Tell everybody, pick up a green ward, pick up a pink, put wards everywhere. We need to get picks and we need to get gold onto the one person that can get us back into this game.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. And, if they drag it out a little bit, the Vlad is going to get stronger. It is going to be a little more helpful. But, when you're team fighting and when you're going along, the one thing you can't do is you just can't group up, because someone that we've kind of not really brought up is this Sejuani right now. She's got the Banshee's Veil. She's got kill participation in 14 of the 15 kills, which means that every fight she's getting in there, she's hitting that ultimate, she's making sure to lock everybody up, and she's doing a fantastic job at it right now. So if Team 8 continues to, group up like this and allow these ultimates to come off, as Devon Shane gets a huge amount of poke right there in XY2 set. But if they're able to, continue to team fight the way that they're doing, then this match is going to single-handedly go in the favor of Atik. So it's really going to be important to just try your best to not get caught out, kind of like the Kree just did. That's going to be a legendary kill right there for Autumn, as again, you've got the damage, but you don't really have any tanky stats, and the poke potential right now from everybody else is just crazy as the wild growth comes out to try to save.
Yeah, that was 2 ultimates burned so far. Lucian already burned the ultimate to try and get the wave out of there. That wave clear coming from Jinx and Zera, way, way too strong to deal with. Plus the dive and the siege potential from Team Atik's really, really scary. So they're just going to lose that inhibitor as Kree gets caught out and as Zoomoon takes a whole bunch of free damage, forcing Lulu to burn the ultimate. Looks like they're going to try and get as much vision down on Baron as they possibly can.
Yeah, this is a time you've got the inhib down. You've actually got all your members at full health, so this is going to be a free Baron. They don't need to contest it. If they want any chance of coming back in this game, then it's not something they want to force the issue on. Bless the Fall and Y2 Set are going to go down, but that's going to be, yes, it's going to be a good Hemoplague, but I'm not sure that they necessarily want to do this exactly.
Yeah, Bless the Fall going in really, really deep. Awesome, almost dying to the last rock of the Hemoplague. However, Penguin Shadow does pick up 1. Yeknam completely caught up by himself, but he does going to have help on the back line. Yeknam getting attention from Boom Sparky, but Jinx also went down as well. I completely missed that. Penguin Shadow barely flashing out of there, barely making it out alive. AON Joker doing his best to make it out of there, not wanting to give up yet another kill. So they did manage to stop the Baron. That wasn't something I was expecting that was going to happen.
No, a very good job. MVP of that fight is going to hands down go to Bless the Fall right there. He did a very good job at getting, as he's actually going to come down really low right there, but he gets the Hemoplague on 4 members of Atik's, and he goes in, he gets the Hemoplague down, he walks up, he W's into the entire fight. Baron is still hitting them mile away while they're switching the focus. Jinx is forced to flash over the wall, even pops the heal, but that beautiful amount of damage that Flag cranks out is still able to pick up the kill. So even though it was a 3 for 3, even though you came out even, when you're down this much, even is exactly what you want. You want to draw the game out. You want to make sure to come back in gold. And the fact that they were able to, stop the Baron attempt was great. But that being said, you still have a 5k advantage right here. You've got pings coming out from Atik to start the Dragon. You've got 3 members on the bot side now. They're not going to be able to respond to this in time.
So especially with Jinx tearing down Baron so fast with that minigun passive stacking over and over again. This is going to be a really hard one. I don't think they're going to be able to pull this miracle twice. Baron being started, Baron going down super fast.
Yeah, I'm not sure that, again, I'm not sure this is a fight that they want to do. You've got supers into the base now. You've got Zumu and Kree trying to come down, but it doesn't matter. That's going to be a Baron right there, and they're going to fight. They're not.
Yeah, they're going to fight it. This is going to be absolutely messy. Devin Chang does get taken out, though. Looks like 2 members of the blue team caught in the middle of that vengeful Maelstrom. Yeknam trying to do his best to get out of there. Forced to flash out of the Cataclysm. Zoomoon turning his attention from the support back to the front line of Team Atik's. Penguin Shadow being the focus of 4 members of that team right now. Yeknam watching on the back line, seeing if he can throw a lantern to anybody, realizing that's not going to happen. Forced to jump on out of there. So they did pick up the Baron, but they lost 3 of their team members in that exchange.
Yeah, 2 of which being their carries. And again, this is something that we talked about. Yes, they've got great team fighting, but if they can't do the team fight, then they're not going to come out top because there's a lot of single target damage that Team 8 can pull out. And they did a very good job. Bless the Fall understands his strength. He understands his role in the team, kill carries. So he did a very good job getting back on the Autumn, popping that human plate, getting back on a Devin Chang, getting that human plate. It looks like that's going to be a dead... wow, that's going to be a dead Braum right there, but here comes 211. He's going to get the hook right there. That's going to be a flight. There's going to be a dead Lucian right there. So, I mean, it's back and forth. You do have the movement speed buff now, and, you know, there really isn't an objective to take, so that is going to be pretty worth, even though that was 2 deaths for that. But, again, like what we were saying, that was a really good job at Team 8 to, you know, use that single target focus and make sure that they can get all their kills off before the team fight can come out from Atik's. If Jinx is dead, if Xerath's dead, there's nothing left. They're all of the damage. You've got this mega tank building right now from Maokai. You've got this mega tank building out from Sejuani. You've got a Thresh who's, you know, he's just Thresh. He's running around doing random things, hitting people with hooks. And the fact that they're killing these carries before the fights, you know, break out full blown, that's how they come back in this game, and they're going to do just that. But you still have Baron on, what is it? Yeah, 2 members right here of Atik's, and so they're going to have the Baron buff for these pushes. They're still going to be able to siege a spot lane, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Team Atik doing their best to try and take advantage of the little time that they do have with the Baron buff. This is a team comp that you're really afraid. It's going to dive you. XY2 set gets caught off by the hook coming from the dark. Going to get focused by 3 people. That's a wild growth. Wasted on somebody who's inevitably going to go down. Penguin Shadows pickups unkilled on that. Looks like Kree is going for that backline. Tries to get the Cataclysm down, but forced out of there. Maokai picks up a kill there. Zoomoon completely zoned away from the fight. 3 members down so far for Team 8. This looks like they're going to lose another inhibitor.
Yeah, again, you know, this has been a very good job by Thresh right here to make sure to hook out. Yes, Braum is, you know, this generally known as this like crazy CC tank, but he's 2-7 and 9 right now. He is an entire item behind pretty much on Thresh. And even though you can look, yes, he's got the Sunfire Cake, yeah, he's got the Lock of the Iron Solar, he's pretty squishy, and so if they can really burst him down before anything can happen, then that's fantastic, and that's exactly what they did. They got the team fight they wanted, they were able to get the inhib, they got the inhib on the mid right now, and now it's just, you know, the basic rotation game. They're gonna go top lane, they're gonna make sure that Boom Sparky doesn't get this tower, and all they have to do is go back, heal, push down this top lane, and, you know, it's just basic league strategy at this point.
Yeah, TP coming in response to stop that very slow Lulu push. Lulu completely forced out. Maokai way too scary for her to deal with right now. With all that MR, no Void Staff on that Lulu, so she's just barely going to tickle him with those Glitter Lances. Then again, you haven't seen any of the other games in this tournament, but we have seen really massive throws in a lot of the games. So I feel like Team 8 coming back in this is not entirely impossible, incredibly unlikely, definitely, but it'd be really interesting to see a traditional Cal State Fullerton throw at this stage in the game, even at 38 minutes on the clock. It'd be really funny.
Yeah, the game isn't completely over. You know, you still have a lot of the late game prowess that Vladimir and Lulu bring to the table, but if they're going to do this, they need to get the deep works. They need to make sure that they have the vision of knowing where they're going to go. Yes, they're going to go top lane. That's inevitable. Both inhibs are down. There's only one other road you can take. But if you can get the wards in, if you can get the vision to see them run around the jungle, then you might be able to get a pick. Meanwhile, you've got Vladimir in the bot lane trying to split push and push things out. You've got Zoomoon trying to do stuff, but that's not going to be, doing you any good right here when you've got huge mega waves. You've got the inner turret going down on this top lane right now, and they're not looking to stop anytime soon. You've got a blue buff on Devin Chang, so he's just going to be able to do whatever he wants. Malachi's going to pop that ultimate, make sure that anything they try to do doesn't happen. He's going to blow it back. There's going to be a third inhib. Zoomoon is going to have to go back now, but it's too late. The third inhib is gone right now. This is not looking good for teammate.
Yeah, this is just a matter of, oh my gosh, we completely forgot that they had Baron, and the fact that they have a massive sieging team combo. Looks like XY2 gonna get caught by like 17 forms of CC. Kree doing his best to try and salvage what little chance they have of winning the game. Gonna dive into 5, no follow-up means he's gonna go down immediately. Boom Sparky comes in with the Glitter Lance, flashes out immediately. So right now, Vlad and Lucian, the only two people really doing enough damage to force these guys out of here. But oh, Maokai goes in on Zoomoon. Zoomoon getting locked down constantly. Yeknam securing the kill for his team there. Bless the fall. Gets stunned by the Zare. Twisted advance. Gonna land. But it looks like he's just gonna pull on out of there. They are giving up a lot of blood to try and keep their Nexus turrets alive. But it doesn't look like they're gonna fall immediately. Well, never mind. Super Minion is pushing in. This could be real bad.
Yeah, you've still got a 20-second death timer on your Jarvan, and everybody else is pretty much dead right here. They are kind of low, but you've got so many super minions. This looks like it's going to be the game right here. They're going to try to defend best they can, but both Nexus turrets are going to go down. Braum's going to pop his ultimate to try to get something, but it's not going to be enough. Jinx is hacking away at the Nexus right there, and that's going to be game. Atik 7-11 taking away, staving off some elimination, and making sure that their life is still in this tournament.
So yeah, GG's to both team. That does mean that Team 8 is eliminated from our solo duo trio queue tournament in the spring semester of 2015. Good games to both teams. Sorry to see you guys go so quickly, but Team Atik 7-11 staying alive. We'll see how they continue that momentum on. Looks like Team Atik 7-11 gonna be facing off against Team Manuel Jimenez. It's going to be really interesting to see, considering how 3 of the 5 members on Team Manuel Jimenez were the winners of our last tournament, given their insane team fighting composition. We'll take a look at how that goes in the losers bracket sometime later in the week. But taking a look at the damage graphs and some of the data in the post game, Jump, who would you give MVP to?
Well, I mean, the damage doesn't necessarily rock your MVP. I mean, if you're looking just at impact on the game, you look at the amount of great reactionary roams that you have from the Sejuani. She did a fantastic job. AON Joker ended up at 6-1 and 18. Fantastic job at making sure to stay alive. The overall MVP, though, I'm actually going to have to give to this Thresh. He understood, when the time was to go in. He, for all intents and purposes, was their engage. Even though they had better engage with a Sejuani and a Maokai, Thresh understood, I'm going to get this hook. Yes, I get it on Braum. He's weak. He's low. We're going to go in. He's getting a good play. He zones him off with the box, and he allows the rest of his team to come in. On top of that, he prioritized vision. He got a Ruby Crystal. He made sure that he always had a pink ward with the Greater Vision Totem. He's going to have to go with the MVP. Yes, you had damage coming out from Devin Chang. Yes, Autumn also made sure to get out a lot of damage. But when it came down to it, the fight started because Thresh hit a hook. And so that's who I'm going to end up having to give him this MVP to.
Support finally getting some light. We see lots of clips on YouTube and on Reddit of supports making awesome plays, only for everybody to say, good job, Vayne, or good job, Ari. But credit going where credit is definitely due. Yeknam hitting a whole bunch of clutch hooks to secure a lot of great picks, especially under tower. We saw so many fights just completely blow in favor of Team Atik. As soon as Yeknam lands one hook, Sejuani, Maokai, Jinx, Xerath, all able to follow up with their own forms of CC. So, you did Lust Boy proud, buddy. Good job to you guys. Congratulations to the advance. No mystery skin for Jumpman, unfortunately, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Pretty much, if somebody guesses that you're going to get first blood, it's probably not going to happen. So, who did you said you were going to give first blood to? Awesome. So, Awesome, you can definitely blame Jump for that, because that's definitely what happened. But anyway, guys, it is Sunday night. I know it is pretty crazy at school right now with a lot of people finishing up a lot of midterms and a lot of projects. I know there's a lot of things I'm putting off right now. So we're gonna let you guys go. Thanks for tuning into the stream. We're gonna have a lot more matches coming up in the next week as we are in our winners semifinal. So we're gonna transition over to best of threes. We still have some rounds of best of ones to finish out in the losers bracket, so keep an eye out for that. But we're gonna sign off for tonight. As always, I was your host and play-by-play caster Josh, and today I had with me my buddy BC Jumpman. Check us out at
Okay.
Summoner School sometime. Shameless plug. I didn't ask it, and I didn't ask for permission to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Jump. Any final parting words?
No, I think it was a great job by both teams, and good luck to everybody in the rest of the tournament. And thank you guys so much for letting me come to cast. Hopefully, I'll see you guys again in the near future.
All right. Have a good night, guys.